Good evening. Welcome to the Miami Jazz Cooperative Monday Night Jazz. Thank you all for coming. And this tells us how many people appreciate jazz more than watching the Miami Heat lose tonight. I hope I'm wrong about that. I hope I'm wrong, but I've got it recording, and we'll see what happens later. So we are at the early part of our summer season. I want to give you just a little glance of what we've got coming up, because we've got some really great music for you. We are bringing back our Summer of the Big Bands, and next Monday will be the first of our big band nights. It's the Horizons Jazz Orchestra, led by Mike Ballou, and Mike's program next week is going to feature a lot of big band renditions of television and movie themes. I'm guessing there'll be quite a bit of Henry Mancini next week. It's going to be really a lot of fun. 2 weeks from tonight, we've got another great pianist. Alan Paul will be here, the Alan Paul Quartet. That's on June 26th. We are then going to be off for July 3rd and July 10th, taking our summer break, giving Steve Snyder, our church sexton, a chance to get some things done over the summer. And we'll be back here on July 17th. And this is something that's going to be really, really an interesting night. The wonderful pianist Martin Bejarano and the wonderful singer Nicole Yarling have put together a quartet that they are calling the reimagination of Prince. And it's a reimagination of Prince music with jazz twists on it. And these are such creative musicians that it's going to be really interesting to hear what they're doing with Prince music. Martin and Nicole are just incredibly creative people. So that is on July 17th. I can't remember. Oh, the other date I want to mention, on Friday night, July 21st, we're doing a special Friday night concert here, and the wonderful New York-based guitarist Jonathan Kreisberg will be here in concert with his quartet. Ironically, his pianist is Martin Bejarano. And why are we featuring him on a Friday night? They're leaving that weekend for a South American tour. And we were able to nab Jonathan Kreisberg. We had featured Jonathan twice back in the days at the Open Stage Club in Coral Gables, and we sold out both times that Jonathan Kreisberg appeared there. That's how popular he is, particularly among a younger audience, which we love that. So we've got Jonathan Kreisberg here on Friday night, July 21st. Watch the emails and you'll see. We've got 4 different big bands in the month of August. So a lot to look forward to this summer. We hope everybody has a wonderful summer. Not going to see me for about a month, leaving tomorrow morning for northern Wisconsin. And I will be watching the streams on Monday nights, making sure that everything is coming off. Not that I'll be able to do anything from Minocqua, Wisconsin if they don't come off well, but I will be watching, and we hope that you'll come out. As always, we beg you, we urge you, tell your friends about this. The Christies did this tonight. They brought some people here for the first time. Please tell your friends. We really would like to fill this room week in, week out to make this more sustainable. We're paying the Unitarian Universalist congregation, we're paying the musicians, we're paying our sound engineer, we pay to have the piano tuned, and doesn't take much to do the math that at $20 or $30 a head, we need more people than this. So please, we urge you, bring people out. Now, without further ado, this night I've been looking forward to. Very happy that I was able to get this on the schedule for before my departure. The Zack Bartholomew Trio, and when I got here tonight, I didn't realize he had lured back from California a great drummer who is originally from Costa Rica but spent many years here in Miami, including on the faculty of Florida International University. And Rodolfo Zuniga got lured away by Cal State Fullerton's jazz program, and so he's out in Southern California, but he is back here tonight playing with Zack Bartholomew. On bass, the wonderful Marty Quinn, and on piano, Zack Bartholomew. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for the Zack Bartholomew Trio.
Thank you guys. Welcome to the Miami Jazz Co-op. Thank you for spending your Monday night with us. We're super happy to be here to get to play for you. That was an arrangement of mine of an old jazz standard by Victor Young called Beautiful Love that I kind of took and rearranged, changed all the harmonies, changed some rhythms. I wrote that, I think maybe back in 2017. I was playing a lot of this music we're going to play for you guys tonight, kind of before the pandemic. I haven't got to play it in a while. I've been doing a lot of more themed kind of shows, and so I wanted to play more of my original music and some of my arrangements that I haven't got to play in a little while. So that was Beautiful Love by Victor Young. This next tune we're going to play is a composition of mine called Balancing Act I wrote a few months ago, and it sort of the overall arcing thing is just, it can be pretty general. You know, we're always balancing our work and our life and our play and our whatever, you know, writing music, practicing music, booking gigs, teaching. I feel like everything in life is sort of a balancing act, and what you know, we have 24 hours in a day, so it's kind of, sometimes it can be tough to figure out what we're going to do with all of our time, you know, because we have a very limited amount each day. So this is called Balancing Act. I guess Rick already introduced everybody, but I'm going to do it just because I'm up here, and I have the very distinct privilege and honor and pleasure to play with two of my very good friends and two amazing musicians. On the bass, coming from Chicago, we have someone who you guys probably recognize if you've been here before, because he plays here all the time, plays around Miami all the time. He's involved in a lot of great projects. He's recently got his master's at the University of Miami Frost School of Music, and he'll actually be, this fall, he's going to be starting there as the Professor of Contemporary Bass, which is super exciting. Give it a round of applause for Mr. Marty Quinn on the bass. And on the drums from Costa Rica, and then Miami, and then California, and then North Carolina, and then back to Miami again. A good friend of mine who I met around 2015 when I moved to Miami, and who's also sort of just kind of everywhere on every gig you go out to see. He was playing drums, and it's because he's a wonderful musician, wonderful guy, good friend of mine, Mr. Rodolfo Zuniga on drums. Hey guys, this is my tune, Balancing Act. Thank you. That was a balancing act, original mine. Actually, this is our second stop on our about 2-week-long tour. We were in Orlando on Saturday. We're going to be in Miami a few days, and then we're going to be traveling for about 2 weeks, playing a bunch of shows around Florida. We're going to be in Naples, Venice, around Tampa, then Tallahassee, Gainesville, Jacksonville. We're going to go up to Durham, and then Atlanta on the way back. So we got a lot of shows ahead of us, and I thought it'd be a fun time to play some original stuff. We're going to go into the studio. It's kind of long overdue for me to record something because I've written probably 20, 30 songs, and I haven't recorded any of them. So we're going to be playing all this music and then recording it afterwards, which I'm really excited about. So that's why we're playing a lot of the original music for you guys. So that was Balancing Act, and we're going to kind of rewind a few years back before the pandemic when I was still at the University of Miami for school of music. I got my doctorate there in 2018, and when I was there, I was studying quite a bit of Afro-Cuban rhythms, and I was studying with Davnis Prieto and trying to soak in as much of the Miami culture and the music at UM as I could, because I'm from North Florida, and there's not really a lot of that stuff up there. And so some of my compositions around that time sort of reflect some of that stuff. I was trying to specifically use some of the rhythms and things I was trying to learn and find out things that maybe some of the drums were doing and apply them to the piano and then apply them to some of my music. So this song sort of takes this Afro-Cuban bell pattern and adds an extra beat to it. And you'll hear that on the piano and the bass and the drums. This is called Hobo's Lullaby. Thank you guys. That's a hobo's lullaby. So I sort of envision, like riding on an old freight train in the, the dustpan and the Depression, like as a hobo, just sort of riding across the United States, and that's sort of the soundtrack. Toon, 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 as the train goes by, sort of in my head what I imagine. This next tune we're gonna do is there's not really a deep meaning behind it or anything. I have a former student who I taught at Broward College. So I teach at Florida Memorial University. I'm a professor there, and I've taught at Frost School of Music and Miami-Dade College, Broward College, and now I'm at Florida Memorial. When I was at Broward College, I had a student, we keep in touch now, and she'll always comment on my videos and stuff about like the socks I'm wearing, and she's like, oh, you always have these crazy socks, and she's like, you should name your next tune, you write Crazy Socks. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to name my next tune Crazy Socks. So this is the first song I decide. Normally I just write a song and then I try to figure out a title for it, which is really hard. And this is the first song I've ever composed where I'm like, all right, the title's going to be Crazy Socks, and then I'm going to figure out whatever melody goes with that. So my socks aren't that crazy tonight. They kind of color coordinated with the rest of my outfit. But this tune we're going to do is called Crazy Socks. Hope you guys enjoy. Thank you, guys. That's Crazy Socks. So we're gonna part of this tour. Some of the I've been doing since the pandemic. So before the pandemic, I was doing a lot of original music, mostly quartets. Some of the stuff we're doing, I've kind of adapted to trio. But since the pandemic, I've been playing with different organizations across the state, and I've been doing a lot of themed kind of concerts. So I've done some tours and shows like around the state, doing all the music of Chick Corea and all the music of Thelonious Monk and Bud Powell. And so we actually just finished, we're going to be doing a few of those this tour as well, kind of interspersed with the original stuff. And so we were doing some of Thelonious Monk and Bud Powell's music in Orlando, and so I wanted to do at least one of those here. So we have just one set we're going to play, so I had to kind of condense what we're going to do. So this next tune we're going to do, we're not going to do an original mine, we're going to do one of my all-time heroes from the piano, but also compositionally, Thelonious Monk. And he's sort of in this long lineage that of these pianists and composers and band leaders in jazz that sort of started with Jelly Roll Morton, and then you've got guys like Fats Waller and Duke Ellington, and then in the bebop era you've got like Thelonious Monk and Bud Powell, and then later on Herbie Hancock, Chick Corea, Keith Jarrett. And so I really, and then that's sort of one of my models. I study all of the music that comes before me and learn all this stuff, but then I also enjoy writing music and arranging music, doing my own thing, and leading a band, obviously, and performing. So this is a Thelonious Monk tune that one of my favorites of his. He has so many though. He's got millions and millions of tunes that I like. Not really millions, but a lot of tunes that are really, really great. This is one called Aronell. Thank you, guys. Thelonious Monk's Aranel. So we've got a few tunes left. This next one we're going to do, I wrote, I think right after I had finished school, still pre-pandemic, but this is one of a tune that's a little more like long form. So most tunes in jazz, like the one we just played, a lot of them, they're, they have like an A section, bridge, A section, so it's called popular song form. So they're kind of shorter, and I wanted to write something a little more kind of classically influenced, and that had like kind of more of a story, even though there aren't words to it. So this song is called "The Long and Winding Road," and kind of you'll hear this theme. It starts off sort of, just to generalize, it's kind of happy. So it starts off happy, and then this theme happens, and then it develops a little bit, and then basically you get some kind of tension and tumultuous thing and conflict, and then afterwards you sort of hear that happy theme again, but it's a little changed. And for me, I was writing it sort of symbolically, and again, a lot of these things can be pretty general, but I think we can all relate to them. But you go through life, and then maybe you hit some kind of adversity or tragedy, you lose someone you love, or you fall in love and you're happy, and then you get your heart broken, or someone passes away, and you deal with this, you deal with these hard times in your life, and then you're able to come out of it and still sort of find happiness, but you're changed afterwards. And so that's sort of the mentality behind this song. And again, it uses a lot of these kind of Latin type of rhythms in it, so you'll hear that as well. This is called "The Long and Winding Road." Thank you, guys. Long and Winding Road. So we've got 2 tunes left for you. This next one is a song I wrote around a little bit before I wrote that last Long and Winding Road. But this song I wrote sort of thinking about, again, kind of more emotionally driven and story driven than some of the other stuff I did. And I was, at the time, I was in a long-distance relationship with my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife. I'm married, happily married, for about a year now, which is nice. And yeah. And so she was at Florida State, and I was down in Miami, and we did long distance for about 4 years before she moved down here, and we got married. And so I wrote a tune called Time Apart, and sort of the sentiment behind that is spending, the way you feel, trying to kind of capture the way you feel when you're apart from somebody you love. And also lost a parent when I was young, and I think, again, this can be a kind of a general thing that most people can relate to at some period or another in their life. But basically having somebody you care very, very much about and love, and not being able to spend a lot of time with them either. From distance, they move away, maybe a kid, they grow up and they move away, have their own family, or somebody who passes away, or doing, long distance relationships like I was doing. So this song is called Time Apart. One, two, three, four, five, six. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys. Thank you once again. So we're going to do one more tune for you guys. I'd just like to thank the Miami Jazz Co-op, Rick Katz, and everybody here, all the volunteers. Thank you guys for having us and for putting on this event every week. Trent doing the sound. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Like Rick was saying, a lot of people, some volunteers, the sound engineer, people at the door, people serving drinks, people turn the lights on. So without all that, if we come here and none of the lights are on and the sound's turned off, we can't really do a concert. And if we come here and nobody shows up, we can't do a concert either. So thank you all very, very much for joining us. Please give yourself a round of applause for coming out tonight. Thank you. Thank you for supporting the Miami Jazz Co-op, for supporting us. Hope you have enjoyed the music. It's really it's a lot of fun for us to get up here and play on stage for you. So I really try not to take this opportunity for granted to make a living playing music. It's a lot of work. It's very hard, but a lot of things. I say this at like all my shows, but a lot of things are hard. A lot of jobs are hard to do. So I feel very, very fortunate to be able to play music for a living. So thank you guys for coming, supporting us. We're going to play one more song for you. Before we do, I'd like just to reintroduce the band. You guys give them some love. On the bass, Mr. Marty Quinn. On the drums, Rodolfo Zuniga. My name's Zack Bartholomew on piano. Thank you guys so much. This last one we're going to end with, we're going to end on a happy note, so that one was kind of a little bit of a bummer. So this song is a composition I wrote pretty recently. I think this is my most recent one. Like I mentioned, I'm a professor, I'm an educator, and I travel around the state of Florida. I have a grant through this Division of Arts and Culture to go and do performances and outreach at schools and communities. And so I spend a lot of time in my car driving across to South Florida, across Alligator Alley. I'm like on Alligator Alley every week, or I'm going up the turnpike to Orlando for some reason or whatever. I'm just driving like a crazy person. So I'm in my car all the time. And so I wrote this song sort of as a soundtrack to all the time I'm spending driving my car, watching the sun come up and down, or in the rain, or in whatever. This is called Sunny Days Driven By. So thank you guys once again for coming out. Hope you enjoy the music. Sunny Days Driven By. Thank you guys so much. Marty Quinn on the bass, Rodolfo Zuniga on the drums. My name's Zack Bartholomew. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the music. Hope to see you again sometime. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Thank you guys.
Zack Bartholomew Trio. How about this? They say that sometimes people teach because they can't really do. This is a group of educators that can really play. Let's give it up. Thank you guys.